Welcome to the second segment of our Business Basics series, Sales and Marketing. You'll learn how all employers, large and small, develop and spread the word about their products and services. Thank you.
Welcome back. Virtually everything you've ever bought or wanted to buy has involved the work of someone in a marketing function. In the biggest companies and organizations, you'll see dozens, sometimes hundreds, doing this work. In the smallest, you might see the company founder writing advertisements, sending out email blasts, or putting up a sign. Yes, a real sign, saying they have something to sell. Marketing happens in every organization. So what is marketing? Is it sales? Is it advertising? Is it research? Is it lining up your product on a table and waiting for customers to show up? Well, yes. Marketing is the combination of things you do to make sure your product or service reaches its audience successfully. And that combination of things you do is as unique as your product. The best organizations give you a chance to view and understand all the vital functions of the organization. The marketing department is a particularly great place to start because the best marketers understand everything about their product or service, from the way it works to the people most likely to buy it. We should be charging more for this stuff. Again, the marketing function in any organization is unique to the types of products and services they create, but there are common tasks. First, the marketing department, we'll just call them marketing, is typically the ultimate builder and defender of the brand. What's a brand? A brand isn't just a logo or trademark. Brands go well beyond that. You're talking about intangible things like reputation, value, integrity, even the way a customer thinks or feels when your organization's name is mentioned. In short, a brand is probably the most important asset an organization has because it defines all the reasons why your customers, donors, and funders keep coming back to you. Product, price, place, and promotion. Marketing departments support the brand of an organization by defining a product or service. Marketing people help figure out how much to charge for the product or service, where it will be sold, and how to spread the word about it. It's important to know that none of this gets done in a vacuum. Marketing people have to work with top management people who create the product or service and those charged with selling it to make it a success. Let's start with a closer look at how the marketing department focuses on product. The marketing department is in partnership with the C-suite, the company's top officers, to determine what products and services the company will offer. Say you have a company that makes fishing equipment. Members of the C-suite may know fishing inside and out, but before you build anything, you should have a pretty good idea of how you're going to sell it. That's why it's a good idea to think about marketing before any product or service goes to the assembly line. By the way, nonprofits need marketing too. If you're running a charitable organization that offers, for example, help to the homeless, that service is literally your product and you'll need to market to two audiences. The homeless, of course, because you'll want that community to know you're available to help, but you'll also need to market to funders who can support your work. That is why you'll find business training just as valuable in the nonprofit world. The second P is price. After talking with top management and the inventors of the product, marketing sets the price. Let's go back to our fishing example. Say the company's president has an idea for a great new tackle box for saltwater fishing. The marketing department has to research the marketplace to make sure there's a real need or desire for this product. They have to consider the cost of manufacturing, distribution, promoting and selling the product against what their customers might be willing to pay for it. Marketing also has to think about special costs to launch the product. These costs often involve a substantial upfront investment that might take a big bite out of first-year profits if it's a success, or a potential loss that could make things tough for the rest of the organization. This is where marketing people earn their money. They not only have to understand which products will sell and how to sell them, but they have to guess correctly about what must be spent to accomplish those goals. And now on to our third P, place. 150 years ago, place was a simple concept in marketing. Where were you going to sell your product or services? Well, in most cases, you literally had a place of business. That was true until the 1870s, when a guy named Montgomery Ward produced the first mail-order catalog. The idea of place started to get blurry after then. The first TV infomercials launched around 1950. Home TV shopping arrived around 1980, and in 1991, the internet opened for business. Soon, we stopped talking about stores and started talking about channels. But ultimately, place is where you're going to sell your product and service. Audience determines the place where you sell. And let's take a moment to talk about the two primary audiences in marketing, business to business and business to consumer, better known as B2B and B2C. Why bring up audience in a discussion of place? Because if you're going to sell to businesses or consumers or both in the 21st century, you have to bring your product to them. If you're marketing to consumers, you might be using virtually every option above to sell your product and service, particularly the internet. But if you're a business selling to other businesses, you might use those options. But you might also lean more on in-person options like trade shows and direct sales. Why the difference? A number of reasons. They can range from the sheer size of what they're selling, it's hard to buy a bus or train car on the internet, to the fact that business people still like to communicate face-to-face. Again, marketing tactics are as unique as a company's product or service and the industry they're in. Let's move on to promotion. In order for people to buy something, they need to know it exists. It all starts with a great product or service. Next is a promotion strategy that reaches to the right audiences most cost-effectively. Before 1990, the tools were much simpler. Today, they're a mixture of old and new technologies that seem to change every day. Consumer products for a mass audience often require mass media advertising to spread the word, TV, radio, and increasingly, the internet. Print newspapers and magazines are not the advertising powerhouses they once were, but many still have specialized audiences your organization might want to reach. Yet, one of the great misconceptions about marketing is that all it handles is advertising. Ads are only one piece of the marketing puzzle that includes research, product development, PR, branding, event promotion, and sales. And when you consider that the internet is a growing part of all of these disciplines, everything is changing. The marketing department is at the center of all of this change, and that's why some of the terminology is changing too. These days, you'll actually hear something called the 4 C's, better known as consumer, cost, communication, and convenience. These terms parallel the 4 P's, but were developed with the current age of internet marketing in mind. Here's an explanation. Why consumer instead of product? Because some believe that marketing departments shouldn't focus so much on the product as the needs of the person or business. In other words, needs should drive product development. Cost instead of price? This idea reflects a broader idea of what a customer is willing to pay. Not that price doesn't matter anymore, but look how busy we all are. If you see the cheapest product on the market, but it takes extra time to learn it or more money to fix it, that's a cost that goes beyond price. Convenience instead of place. Well, we certainly touched on that above. Place doesn't need to be an actual place anymore to be the center of a transaction. It can be by phone or online. And if it's still an actual store, restaurant, or venue, it better be interesting enough to warrant a visit. Last but not least, communication versus promotion. Most of us don't remember the last TV commercial we sat through. These days, we're much more likely to click on an interesting tweet. The internet's enabled communication that's faster, more personal, and more like a two-way conversation. Promotion, some argue, is someone talking at you. Communication is someone talking with you. So don't forget your P's or your C's. In the next video, we're going to take a look at how most marketing departments are structured.